When I gave Mandy the title of this talk, I hadn't yet begun to prepare it. I think if I had waited, I would have called this talk Connecting with Reality. When I say that something is real, what does that mean to you? Does it mean that what I'm referring to is not just a figment of someone's imagination? Or does it mean that what I'm referring to is not an imitation or a fake, that it is genuine, real? Over the years, I've heard the word reality explained in many different ways. And I've heard a lot of adjectives used to describe it. For example, scientific reality, objective reality, personal reality, and spiritual reality. And I seem to remember that a few years back, someone taught a class here at Unity about ultimate reality and relative reality. I didn't get to attend that class, but the name of the class really resonated with me because there is an ultimate reality, a challenging, constant reality that underlies everything we see and experience, everything that is. There is also relative reality. There are situations which seem to suggest a different reality. But those realities are in fact related to the way ultimate reality expresses in different circumstances. Ultimate reality, to me, is a synonym for God. Because God is all in all. God is all-encompassing and all-pervading. And we all exist within the totality of God. As some of you know, and as she explained, I was a member of the Theosophical Society for a number of years and was active in that group. We had a symbol for the allness of God. And that symbol was a circle with a dot in the middle to remind us that God is the center and the circumference of all our lives. We can never be separated from God. That is the reality of our existence. That's the reality that our unity principles express. And it's the reality that we acknowledge when we say the prayer for protection. God is, and we are. We are one with God. And because we are one with God, we're one with all of creation. The Christian Bible begins with these words: in the beginning, God, followed by, created the heavens and the earth. According to the account in Genesis, God spoke the universe into being, and in so doing gave expression to the creative force of divine mind. I need to put my glasses on. Hindu scriptures tell a similar story, but differently. According to the Vedas, God, whom the Hindus call Brahman, awoke from a deep sleep and waking generated a field of pure consciousness. The Hindus call that consciousness Ishvara. And in Hindu mythology, Ishvara is often called the Divine Mother, because according to the Vedas, it was the life force of God expressing through and acting upon that field of consciousness, which gave rise to all creation. The creation accounts of other religions may differ somewhat, but this theme of the universe being manifest by divine consciousness seems to run through all of them. Now, science, particularly quantum physics, has tried for a very long time to explain the origin of our universe. Perhaps its most popular and enduring theory has been the Big Bang theory. I have a problem with that theory. And the problem is, it fails to acknowledge that before the Big Bang, there had to be something to bang. If that horrific explosion scattered all the elements of creation throughout a void, then those elements had to exist prior to the Big Bang. Now, not all creation myths describe such a violent event, but most are suggestive of a dormant state of consciousness, which upon waking expands outward into a field of awareness. I don't want to dwell over long on the parallels between the Hindu worldview and that of science. But there is one parallel I'd like to talk about. The Hindu texts state that Brahman, or God, alternately sleeps for a period of time called a pralaya, then wakes and is active for another long period of time called a manvantara. Now, a manvantara is said to last approximately, are you ready for this? 306,720,000 years. At the beginning of the Manvatara, Brahman, or God, is said to manifest the universe. At the end of the Manvantara, as he begins to fall asleep again, creation is withdrawn and becomes dormant. The Bhagavad Gita explains these cycles with these words: day dawns, and all those lives that lay hidden asleep come forth and show themselves mortally manifest. Night falls, and all are dissolved into the sleeping germ of life. Thus they are seen and appear unceasingly, dissolving with the dark and with day, returning to the new birth. Now, according to science, Our universe is still expanding from the force of the Big Bang. But scientists believe that at some point in the future, the force of that explosion will be spent, and creation will begin, the universe will begin to contract and return to its original state. Then, after eons of time, scientists predict another Big Bang. Is this not reminiscent of the Hindu concept of Manvantaras and Pralaya? Do they not both describe periods of manifestation and periods of dormancy? Do they not both imply that all manifest creation exists within the totality of God? And although science is strangely reluctant to include consciousness in their explanation of how the universe came into being, it claims to be looking for a TOE, a theory of everything. Since quantum field theory has already demonstrated that when matter is reduced to subatomic particles, it can be observed to emerge from a field which by any standard definition of matter is completely non-material. I suspect that if and when they find this theory of everything, there will be a lot of similarities to Ishvara, a field of consciousness. There is currently a lot of research being carried out into the nature of consciousness. And surprisingly, the consensus emergent from that research is that consciousness is not, as we've always believed, a byproduct of the chemical and electrical activity in the brain. It is thought instead to be a universal field existing beyond the brain. And the brain is thought to function much like a computer, connecting with that field in the same way that a computer connects to the internet. I feel compelled to tell you that many hardcore scientists reject this concept because it challenges the worldview they founded their careers on. But as this research continues, the evidence continues to accumulate. And at this point, formulas are being figured out about how consciousness informs our brain. At the University of Arizona, Dr. Stuart Hamerall and Sir Roger Penrose have detected a very faint vibration in the cortex or bark around the brain's microtubules. And that seems to correspond to the influx of information. They are convinced that this is the connecting point between the brain and the universal field of consciousness. Now, I'm not a techie, and I'm not sure I can draw a clear analogy between computer programs and the way the brain taps in to universal fields. But I do know that the usefulness of a computer depends upon the software installed upon it and upon the skill of the user. And I suspect that being able to access universal fields of consciousness is no less dependent upon the way our minds have been programmed and upon our ability to reprogram them. If we have been programmed through our upbringing, through our experiences, to devote our attention to material persons and pleasures, if our priorities are inclined toward economic security rather than to a more holistic approach to life, it's not likely that we'll be able to shift our focus to spiritual pursuits without some difficulty. To say the least, it will take time and effort. But the good news is there are ways to refocus our attention and redirect our will so that we connect with our higher selves and can change our lives. But before I talk about that, I want to emphasize once again, God is all. Nothing can exist apart from God. That is ultimate reality. And our relative realities will only seem as real as our understanding of ultimate reality. Prayer and meditation are the most efficacious ways to approach spiritual reality. Prayer is not necessarily petitionary. We don't have to plead with God for help in our daily lives. We have only to be conscious of our needs and desires and to contemplate the ways in which they might be fulfilled. That in itself is a form of prayer. Prayer brings us into harmony with God. And meditation opens channels through which the love and the will of God become known to us. Meditation opens us to receive guidance and inspiration so that we can live up to our divine potential. Now, I'm not saying that meditation will eliminate every problem, every conflict, or that our basic character will be transformed overnight. Our worldview is shaped by many things. Genetics, upbringing, experiences from our childhood, perhaps even experiences from past lives. But what I am saying is that meditation, regularly practiced, can bring a deep sense of peace, a knowingness which can resolve emotional conflicts. When I speak about genetic influences and subconscious memories of trauma, I'm speaking from experience. I sometimes undergo a momentary emotional meltdown, triggered by something which unexpectedly recreates traumas in my subconscious. And when that happens, I know I'm not easy to deal with. But I'm blessed to have a wonderful man in my life who knows how to deal with me. He's learned, I guess, that my momentary lapses of self-control have little to do with who I am in my heart of hearts. And I am so grateful to have Mac in my life. The world we live in is busy and demanding. It's chaotic and troubled. And it's hard sometimes to find time for contemplation. We allow ourselves to become so involved with the affairs of the outside world that we sometimes neglect our spiritual needs. But if we acknowledge that God is all, that we exist within the totality of God, if we truly know that He is the ultimate reality of our lives, then shouldn't we be living our lives from that perspective, rather than from the perspective of the material world? Which is most important? Indulging our egos, enjoying the fulfillment of our physical appetites, or developing our connection with the love and wisdom of the one in whom we live and move and have our being. Isn't it time to start living our truths? You've been reminded rather frequently of late that I'll be teaching a 5-week class on meditation beginning next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. In that class, we'll explore the many facets of meditation, what it is and isn't. We'll look at the many misconceptions about meditation. We'll look at the problems people experience when they try to meditate. And we'll look at the excuses they use sometimes for not practicing. We'll explore tools and techniques for overcoming those problems. And we'll talk about the blessings that come as a result of becoming spiritually fit. A desire to meditate, determination, and perseverance are all essential to a successful practice of meditation. You wouldn't go to a gym and expect to become physically fit in one workout. So why would you expect to try meditation once or twice and become spiritually fit? To me, prayer and meditation are doorways to the spiritual realm. Those doorways are never closed to us, but they are sometimes obscured by the demands of our daily lives. It's up to us to locate those doorways and to pass through them. It's not enough to go through the motions. We can come to church on Sunday morning and sit quietly and follow the guidance of whomever leads the meditation. And that is definitely beneficial. But meditation itself, that altered state of consciousness, which grounds us in reality, and opens new vistas is more than that. Whether you are thinking about starting a meditation practice, or you are an experienced meditator hoping to revitalize your practice, I invite you to join us next Thursday and for the following 4 Thursdays. Whether you come to our class to discover the blessings of meditation, or you come to our class to support and be a blessing, you will be welcome. And I hope to see you there. Thank you. And may the light of God surround you.